bring this back. Can you hear me? Perfect. I'm so sorry, another presentation in English. I know it's late in the day. I have a lot of words on my slides, so hopefully you'll be able to read them as well as listen to me prattle on about Arctic wolf today. There's been a lot of presentations today about data risk, about the importance of security and protecting your data, about cybercrime. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to understand any of those presentations, so please forgive any repetition that there might be. So I'm going to talk today a little bit about why vendors make cybersecurity so complicated. As I was thinking about this topic, I thought back to when I joined Arctic Wolf. So just as a bit of background, I joined 4 years ago as the first person to build the EMEA region. And when we came into region, there was nothing. We had no customers, no partners, no pipeline. We didn't have anything. All we really had at that time was the analysts telling us that, you know, it was a good time to come into the market, that the service that we'd already built in North America was very well respected, that the cybersecurity market was growing, and there were already some of the other vendors in the market. So there was a presence from CrowdStrike, Rapid7, SentinelOne, some of the other players that you would expect, but we really had no idea how things would go over the coming years. As I fast forward 3 years, last year when I was at a cybersecurity event in Belgium, I looked around and I realized that every booth and every stand had something about cybersecurity on it. So in 3 short years, we'd gone from having to explain to customers what the threat of cyber was, why you need to think about this, explaining that managed detection and response is MDR, why it's important, how it fits into the network, how it protects you. And all of a sudden, in a short period of time, every stand seemed to have something with DR on it, whether that was EDR, MDR, XDR. And I took a step back and thought, if this is complicated for us to understand, being in cybersecurity and dealing with this every single day, for a vendor that's maybe, or for an organization that's thinking about what they need to do moving forward, trying to understand what's important, what they need to look out for, who's going to be able to help them, it's an absolute minefield. And one that, as you think about this, from your perspective, must be incredibly difficult to navigate. So what I'd like to do today is tell you a little bit about Arctic Wolf, but also talk about some of the things that we see in the market and things that we think you should think about if this is something that you're starting to consider. I know there's been a presentation on NIS2 and DORA. We talk a lot about compliance. We talk a lot about the cost of cyber risk. We talk about the growth, and I'll touch on that a little bit in the slides. So we'll go through what we see in the market, maybe give you a little bit of advice and explain how you should progress if this is something that you want to progress through. So a little bit about Arctic Wolf. So some of you may have already heard of us, some of you may not, but Arctic Wolf was launched in 2012 and first came to market in 2014. And over the course of the last 11 years, have built a phenomenally strong platform, not only in the US, also in EMEA, now in Australia and New Zealand, launching into Asia Pacific. And over that time, we've grown a customer base of north of 10,000 customers. We've got 1,000 security engineers and more, and we've built a platform that's so scalable that we're able to ingest over 8 trillion security events per week, which means that we're ingesting, analyzing, and storing north of 2.5 petabytes of data per week. What this means is that we're an experienced security partner. We're not new to the market. We've been doing this for an awfully long time. We have over 1,000 IR engagements per year, which means that when customers do have a challenge, everything goes down and they've got a number flashing on the screen. We'll work with customers to get them back up to speed to understand the root cause. We've got agents and sensors in north of 100 countries protecting and hopefully delighting our customers. And we've got over 2,000 partners globally. So we're a large organization. And growing and giving me a lot more grey hairs as we do it. Now, it's always good to look at what the analysts are saying and have that proof that the analysts are saying that we're doing the right things, Twice a leader with IDC, there's no Gartner Magic Quadrant, so Gartner Peer Insights is important for us and a CNBC disruptor. As you look at 2024, industry recognition is important. You can see a lot of the players that you would expect to be on here, but there's also people like Deloitte, IBM, Accenture that are also on this slide who you might not think of as being cybersecurity vendors. But back to my original point, every organization at the minute seems to have cybersecurity somewhere in the portfolio. What you don't see here is all of the security, the managed service security providers who are also coming out with, whether they're local, whether they're European or global services that they're offering out to customers. So it's becoming an incredibly crowded marketplace. So for us to be in that position is an extremely good place for us to be. Why is this important? Well, it's important because cybercrime and cyber losses are outpacing security spend. So when you look at this, you can see in 2023 that cybersecurity spend was $188 billion and that there were north of 3,300 security companies in the market. Back to the confusion. Who do we choose? What do we do? Why is it important? But whilst the amount of spend is increasing, the risk and the cost to organizations is increasing even faster. So the question you need to ask yourself is, we've got a security budget, we're spending our money, but are we actually spending our money in the right place? Is it giving us the protection that we need, or are we going to factor in one of those cybercrime losses at some point in the future? Why is it important? Well, cloud computing, digital transformation, increased distributed assets, technology assets across all organizations is making it harder or making the threat landscape for cyber criminals easier. There are more security vectors for cyber adversaries to come and attack us. Do we have all of those covered? Most organizations would say they're really not sure whether they do or not. You put that together with the other issues on here, so talent, I'll touch on talent, not only finding talent, hiring talent, retaining talent, as well as things like the compliance NIS2 and DORA that you've spoken about. It's much harder without a security operations partner for organizations to be effective in securing themselves, hence why we see the growing demand in the market. So why do we make it so complex? We make it so complex because it's hard. This is not an easy challenge to overcome. Let's talk about tools. There's a couple of things that no matter how the market changes, we still see the same challenges in the market. So let's first talk about tools. I'm not going to talk about how long ago this was, but I started my IT career in IT security many years ago, selling wireless intrusion detection. And at that time, it was a tool and it was a solution to fix the threat of unsecured wireless access points. So there were people going out, buying wireless access points from the local hardware store, plugging them in under their desks, opening up all of the network security. We needed a tool to fix that. We needed a tool to detect it. And we needed a tool to alert our security teams that there was a challenge in their environment that would put their organization at risk. As technology advances, as the technology landscape changes, there's a tool that comes along to fix that problem, and organizations need to be cognizant of that, and they need to put something in place. What all of this means is that all of these tools are sending alerts. They're sending alerts to the IT organizations to say, hey, this is a problem, you need to go and do something about it. Not just tools like that and maybe patch updates, it could be anything, but the volume of alerts is overwhelming. So whilst they can increase the protection and visibility, they generate a huge amount of alerts and events that have to be monitored and have to be looked at. This brings us to alert fatigue. Hopefully everybody's heard of alert fatigue in the room, but it is a real thing. We talk about it an awful lot because it's something that IT teams globally have to deal with. They can't afford to ignore any of these. How do you know that the existing tools that you've got are covering you completely? How do you know that you're not missing anything? There's very few organizations that can put their hand up and say, honestly, we're fine. We're absolutely covered. We know we've got a solution in place that will monitor everything, and we've got a tool that will protect us. The average organization employs 45 different security tools and needs 19 tools to deal with one single alert. That in itself is generating a huge amount of traffic for the IT teams. So the dissatisfaction with tools leads to alert fatigue and creates big problems for our IT organizations. Let's touch on resources. The resources that you've got, your IT teams, your SOC teams, are you very sure that you're using them in the right way? 24/7 monitoring isn't easy to do. So we say that every organization would need on average 8 full-time employees to make sure they've got full 24/7 coverage. This is for shift patterns, it takes into account holidays, it takes into account sickness, but the cost of 8 full-time employees for any organization is incredibly high. Is the time that your IT teams are spending monitoring all of these alerts, is that the right use of their time? Is that what you hired them for? Because these are going to be expensive resources. Is this what you want them to be doing? My guess is probably not. Our platform alone, across the 10,000 customers that we have, analyzes more than 8 trillion events per week. There will be a lot of events coming into all organizations that need to be looked at. They can't be ignored. That one that gets ignored, that could be the one that risks you to a ransomware attack. So if we put this into context, the annual risk of a ransomware attack is 9%. The annual risk of a data breach is 15%. The annual risk of a business email compromise is 20%. Do you want to take that risk? I would say that you probably don't. The impact of alert fatigue is real. More than a quarter of alerts get ignored. Once alert fatigue kicks in, the attention to detail goes. That 25% of those alerts is an awful lot. This goes on to burnout and job satisfaction. 75% of security individuals say that they're experiencing burnout. It's a 24/7 job. The bad guys don't stick to business hours. It would be phenomenal if they did. It would make our lives an awful lot easier, but sadly they don't. They've switched on to this fact. The constant analysis takes a lot of work, but again, it has to be done. There is an absolute direct correlation between alert fatigue and staff attrition. To put that into reality, to train a SOC analyst up properly takes the best part of a year. The average SOC analyst lasts about 2 years in their job. So you think about the return on investment that you're getting for that role. Again, is that what you want those guys to be doing? I would suspect not. So how can you attract and retain talent? This is something that we see constantly because we have a very large team of engineers. Hiring them is difficult, retaining them is difficult. But your IT hires, when you hire your team, remember that they're more than technical hires. These are key members of your organization that will make security real. It's not just an IT team. Nurture your talent. When we did the Arctic Wolf Trends report in 2022, we found that 65% of cybersecurity employees were considering leaving their current position. Are your teams telling you that they're leaving? How will you know that they're going to leave? Build a strong security culture. We see more and more organizations now investing in a CISO. A CISO is more than just an IT resource. A CISO is that person that will come in that will stop your IT organizations becoming overwhelmed, but more importantly, they will make security be a key business feature. Business security, IT security has to trickle down through the business and become a key part of any business decision that is made through the business. It cannot be ignored, whether that's from making sure that your staff are trained into the risks that they may bring to your business, or whether that's looking at a new tool or a new project that you want to implement. Security should be part of every decision that your business makes, and that's something a CISO can help with. And lastly, which leads me on to the Arctic Wolf part, leverage a third-party expertise. Bring everything that I've just said back together. Use a company that has the expertise to help you do your 24/7 monitoring and make sure that you're fully protected. So why invest in a partner? You've got a 24/7 extension to your team, and that's what any organization that is offering you a service should be offering you, an extension to the team that you have in place to give you the security that you can go to sleep at night and you feel that you're secure. We'll touch on NIS2 and all of that in a second. The medium ransomware demand seen by Arctic Wolf is $600,000. That's not a number you ever want popping up on your P&L. It's not ever something you want popping up on a black screen when it takes everything out in the business. But more importantly, using a third-party vendor as an extension to your security team gives you key professionals who do this every day, who are trained, who understand the global threats, who understand the global landscape, and can look at your environment with the eye that knows what they're doing and make sure that they're using all of their expertise to help you be safe. So if you are thinking about bringing in a partner, and if you are thinking about protecting yourself, these are some of the things that we believe the vendor should solve. So whilst we make it quite complicated, we've tried to make this as simple as possible. So if you're having these conversations, please make sure that the people that you're talking to can answer this and answer this properly. Can you protect and defend us against threats? Can you, and how? Will you help us with our security tools to satisfaction? In fact, scrap that. Will you help us understand what security tools we've got? Have we got the right ones? Do we need them? Are we using them in the right way? Are they up to date? Make sure that you don't have security tool dissatisfaction. They'll take away the limited access to talent. Now, I know it's a problem every organization globally faces, but I understand it's also a big problem here in Iceland. If limited access to talent is a problem, outsource it. Give it to the professionals. Make sure that the money that you have in your IT security budget is being spent efficiently. Ask the question, what are we spending our budget on? Are we spending it in the right place? Have we got full coverage? And can I honestly say we've got the right things? Improve cyber insurability. I know it's not a huge thing here for cyber insurance, but it may become so. So work with an organization that can help you tick those boxes, much like house insurance. If you go for cyber insurance, they want to know if you've got a house alarm, have you got cameras, have you got a Ring doorbell, have you got window locks? Cyber insurance has become much the same. It's incredibly difficult to do now. And demonstrate compliance. You've had a whole presentation on compliance. My question to you is, are you ready for this? So we know that DORA is coming in mid-July. We know that NIS2 is coming. It's not an if, it's a when. Are you ready? Are you able to say, if asked the question, are we compliant, that you can run all of the relevant reports, that you have quick and easy access to the data, and that you are fully aware that you are compliant? Aside from this room, aside from Iceland, I can honestly say that the vast majority of customers that I speak to will say no, they're not. We've been working on this now since we heard about NIS2 and since we heard about DORA, because if we can't help our customers to know that they can be compliant, understand what they have to do, then there's probably no point in me standing here talking about this. But actually, we've got customers all over Europe that are prepared. In Belgium now, they have no choice. NIS2 is going live. Belgium's the first country. So we have got a lot of customers, we've got a lot of expertise, we've got a lot of experience, and we've got a lot of professionals that can help you make sure that you are ready for this, because this absolutely is coming. So just to finish off, the best value in cybersecurity. We've spoken about the cost of going it alone. We've spoken about the difficulties of going it alone. If you want to do this yourselves, not only are there the full-time employees that you need to hire, there's the time and the cost of hiring, there's the retention, but then there's building your own SOC. It's not quick, it's not easy. For a fraction of that cost, we can help you. We're committed to our value. We stand behind what we say. So the security operations warranty is something that we offer at no cost to our customers to provide an additional level of warranty should the worst happen, which obviously we hope it never will, touch wood. Unified cybersecurity. It's security operations at scale built on our own platform, our own technology to provide you with full 24/7 protection. We own the outcome. We can talk about the technology, we can talk about the platform, but people very often say to me, what's really different about Arctic Wolf, back to vendors making cybersecurity complicated? I truly believe that one of the key things that Arctic Wolf do, and that they do very well, is the people that they hire. So we have sales teams, as you would expect, whose job is to go and sell. At the point of sale, at the point of purchase order, the customer transitions straight over to an onboarding team. That won't be an onboarding team that may ring you with an alert in 3 weeks' time. That onboarding team is there specifically and only to get you onboarded as safely, securely, thoroughly, and quickly as they possibly can. At the point of go live, you pass over to S2, that's the security team, who are key professionals who are there just to work with you on your security journey and make sure that you have 2 named professionals working with you as an individual account. And we make it work. Look, one size doesn't fit all. Every customer is different. Every organization is different. The tools that you've bought are different. The number of teams that you've got are different. But more importantly, where you want to go to is different. Is NIS2 important? Is DORA important? What is the aim of each individual organization? And we work to tailor to the needs of that company. So those are the key things that we think that we can deliver to organizations as Arctic Wolf. So I think I've talked at you enough. I hope that that's been useful. If you've got any questions, we've got Ari and Charlotte here as well. Fortunately, Ari's Icelandic, so you don't have to do it all in English, but I'd be delighted to continue this conversation with you afterwards. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry.